Everyone love their own life and love their country. Scammer should be received the severed punishment, namely death, and their money should be returned to the victim's family. Our world would be a better place without people like you, scammers. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ
I'm not even sure where to start this video, so let's just start it on this note.
Utang ina ninyong lahat. Martin Romualdez, Lisa Marcos, Bongbong Marcos.
Hi guys, my name is Vijay, Reyna, blah 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 blah. If you want to subscribe to my channel to join the Reyna family, great. If not, let's get into the video. So the Miss Universe 2025 pageant has concluded and there has been so much drama. To be honest, it's not like the drama started after the competition's conclusion. It started a long time before this, really from the arrival of the ladies to Thailand. But we're going to focus in on some key things, and a lot of this video is going to be around Miss Fatima Boch, which is the former Miss Universe Mexico, or I guess she still is Miss Universe Mexico, but also she's now the Miss Universe 2025 winner. So let's get into it. One thing I do want to say is that anything in this video that I post, anything that I repost are all allegations for legal purposes. Nothing that I am saying is fact. It is either just opinion based or it is rooted in allegations. I am not stating that any of these things that I'm saying today are facts or to be held true. You guys can form your own opinions. I will give my opinion as well, and everything in this video is alleged. So really this whole mess started right when the competition started. Let's just get into the allegations. So as we know, Nawat, who is the owner of Miss Grand International, which is a complete separate pageant entity and pageant competition from Miss Universe, right? We have Miss World, we have Miss Universe, we have Miss Grand, Miss International, we have Miss Supranational, Miss Charm, Miss Cosmo, Miss Earth. There are so many different pageant systems and they're all separate. So these girls can go to all these different competitions and have opportunities at a multitude of different big pageants, right? So Miss Universe is its own. And Nawat owns the Miss Universe Thailand franchise. So he's the national director of it. Every country has a national director, which owns their national competition, right? You have a Miss Universe Philippines, Miss Universe Thailand, Miss Universe United States of America, Miss Universe Mexico, whatever. So Nawat is the national director of Miss Universe Thailand, as well as the owner of the separate pageant Miss Grand International. He was also designated to basically conduct the events that will lead up to the competition in Bangkok, Thailand. This year's edition was held in Bangkok, Thailand, so Nawat was responsible for basically setting everything up. Well, here's the thing about the entire competition. If I was a businessman, right, if I was the owner of Miss Universe organization, during the 20 or so days that the girls are there, the 2 weeks or whatever, leading up to the actual finale, that they are in Thailand and they're doing preliminary activities, I would make sure, if I was part of the Miss Universe organization, that either myself or a representative from the organization was there during this time in Thailand where the ladies and the contestants are there doing the activities to make sure that everything proceeded smoothly and that there was no disruptions and that there was no issues, or if there were issues or problems, that we have someone on our team or myself, if I'm the owner, to show up and to handle them in a timely manner and in a professional manner as well. Well, apparently there was no one there, allegedly, from the Miss Universe organization itself, where the headquarters are in Mexico City, and I think also one in USA. So it was just Nawat himself and his team being the Miss Grand International organization. The Miss Grand International organization runs the Miss Grand International pageant, but they're two separate entities. The Miss Grand International organization is like the business, right? And they run Miss Grand International as well as Miss Universe Thailand. I know it's confusing, it doesn't matter. The point is, Nawat and his team allegedly were the only ones in Thailand leading up to the competition, and so they had no support allegedly from the Miss Universe organization. Well, if you know anything about Nawat, you guys know that he is a very allegedly commanding and demanding leader. Nawat is a man who has been at the center of controversy for how he has allegedly treated queens in the past multiple times. So it was no surprise to anyone when this video of Nawat calling out Miss Universe Mexico Fatima Bosch was leaked.
Okay, Mexico, where are you? Okay, I heard you're not agreeing to post everything about Thailand, about every article, about our activities. Is it true? Didn't give you opportunity to talk. Please keep polite for me. I still talking. Listen, I still keep talking to everybody. Why you stand up to talk to me? Security. Stop. Get security.
So I'll spare you the details. Long story short, this clip of Fatima Bosch, Miss Universe Mexico at the time, was getting berated and singled out by Nawat, went viral. And when I mean viral, I mean it went viral. It went in news outlets all over America. It went into international news outlets. I mean, it was even on the Indian news. Like, it was literally everywhere. And a lot of people really spoke up in support of Fatima Bosch, Miss Universe Mexico, because she stood up for herself. It was women's empowerment, and then other ladies also stood up with her. So there's a lot of people who are very proud of Miss Mexico, including myself. And at the time I was like, wow, how amazing. Eventually the controversy kind of blew over. Nawat apologized. We kind of moved on. So the Miss Universe pageant started to approach, and we were going into the final days approaching the Miss Universe pageant when a few judges dropped. About 3 judges dropped. And I will insert this clip that kind of explains a little bit more about what happened.
Tonight, the Miss Universe pageant in the spotlight once again. 2 judges dropping out ahead of the November 21st pageant kickoff. Judge Omar Harfouch, a Lebanese French composer, resigning over claims that the election process had been compromised, saying in part, it has come to light that a secret and illegitimate vote was held to determine the top 30 contestants before the arrival of the official jury. The Miss Universe organization denying those accusations, saying no external group has been authorized to evaluate delegates or select finalists. Now, a second judge, French soccer legend Claude Makelele, also dropping out, saying he will not be able to attend due to unforeseen personal reasons. And it's not just the judges. Miss Universe Persia withdrawing from the competition too.
I was told by someone from within the organization that works with them that, Sahar, if you would like to place really well this year, and if you would like to win, the more money you're able to bring into Miss Universe organization, the better you'll place.
We reached out to Miss Universe about the claims, but have not heard back. The exit is coming on the heels of another controversy earlier this month when the host of a pre-pageant event singled out.
So as you see, Omar, one of the judges, or one of the original judges of the judging panel and the selection committee for Miss Universe 2025, had dropped. And they were alleging that there was a secret panel that did not include them and the other 8 judges at the time to basically pre-select the top 30. Now, Raul was claiming, and the Miss Universe organization was claiming, well, I'll let you read what they claimed. So as you can see, Raul was like, no, and the Miss Universe organization was like, no, we deny this. This is not true. The selection committee that Omar is referencing is for Beyond the Crown, which is a social project that we are basically having a selection committee behind the scenes select 3 queens, or 3 or 4 queens, I'm not sure, to be recognized for their advocacies, for their I can't say that word, basically for their advocacies, right? To recognize them for their service work, because beauty queens are supposed to have an advocacy. They're supposed to have something that they're passionate about. At Miss Universe, it's kind of not been the center of attention, so I guess this was Miss Universe's way of trying to seemingly show that they still care about service work. I don't know. No one knows. But this was even controversial because, and just quickly, because I don't want to get too much into this right now, one of the selection committee's members for Beyond the Crown is Miss Paraguay's boyfriend. And spoiler alert, guess who ended up winning Beyond the Crown? Miss Paraguay. Allegedly, it's her boyfriend, by the way. Allegedly, or they had some type of relation. I'll put the photos up here. The competition approaches, and the fan favorites were very clear and very evident. I think most people had either Ivory Coast or Guadeloupe. Maybe some had Philippines, and maybe a few other people too, like Venezuela, for example, as their top girls, right? But I think we were pretty unanimous on who the tops were. There were a lot of events leading up to the Miss Universe competition, so it wasn't very hard to see who was, a good performer in evening gown, who was a great performer during the swimsuit, who was a decent speaker, because there were so many interviews. Truly, if it wasn't for that whole Nawat and Miss Universe Mexico Fatima situation, the pageant would have been okay. Does that make sense? Like, the events leading up to the pageant actually were pretty good, and the production was really good. And that is what Nawat and the Miss Grand International organization is known for, is their production, is their preliminary events, is for putting on events for the fans to get excited leading up to the competition. And also it kind of makes it hard for the competition to be rigged or to kind of be unfair, because all the fans are very aware of where the ladies stand leading up to the competition, right? Even if you don't know a contestant before they arrived to Thailand for this edition, you kind of got to know almost everyone leading up to the competition, because there were so many events and so many opportunities for us fans to really understand and get an idea of these ladies. So, you know, you would think that the organization would not allegedly try to rig the competition in any way or try to have favorites and shift the voting in any type of way to favor one contestant or country over another. Because, you know, we're not that dumb as pageant fans. We've had so many opportunities and so many events to see these girls interact with the media, to get exposure to these women in either branding, marketing, runway, speaking, interviews. So we've gotten a really good sense of who truly is, you know, giving the Miss Universe aura. With that being said, let's get into the finale, prelims and finale night. So really, when it comes to the prelims and the finale nights, prelims give you a pretty solid idea. If you're not familiar with pageantry and you're just joining right now, preliminaries are a competition that is held that does the swimsuit walk and the evening gown walk per usual, and sometimes they throw a national costume competition in that same day, the day before or a day or two before the finale competition. And it just kind of gives us an idea. And I think it does have some bearing on the finale night in the selection. The other thing that's very important in pageants across the board, whether it's Miss Universe or otherwise, is the closed door interview. Now, Miss Universe traditionally does not show us as audience members and fans the interviews. I think in 2022, they released the interviews of the top, like, what was it, top 20 or 30 or whatever it was back then. They did release the interviews of those ladies, but that has not happened since. I think it should be open door. As much as I have my qualms and my issues and my complaints about the Miss Grand International organization, at least we can see the closed door interviews via a camera. It's not a closed door interview, it's an open door interview. I wish Miss Universe would shift to that. Maybe they're just trying to save the girls from prejudgment, or they're trying to save the girls from nerves, because it's already a very nerve-wracking time during the pageant and you're already in front of the judges being asked these hard-hitter questions. So maybe the closed door is to keep privacy and to shield the ladies from judgment, or maybe it's to hide transparency, because the Miss Universe organization knows that if they select a girl who did not do well and they put them in the top 30, it would be kind of fishy. Anyways, let's get into the finale night. One quick thing also should be noted that a lot of the judges were not very diverse. I think there was one black judge, there was one Indian judge, and there was like 2 or 3 Asian judges, including India. There was Natalie Gerbova and Andrea Mesa, who are 2 former Miss Universes. Natalie represented Canada, but she has married a Thai man and has lived in Thailand for quite a long time now. And Andrea Mesa was the former winner during Miss Universe 2020. She was Miss Universe Mexico at the time. Her win itself was very controversial because really it didn't make any sense, in my opinion. Miss Peru that year was by far the winner, but allegedly Andrea Mesa's father has strong ties to Telemundo, who at the time was sponsoring and practically hosting that year's edition of Miss Universe. So a lot of people allege that that is the reason why she won. Anyways, this video is not about Andrea. She'll come up later. We'll get to her in a moment. Again, this video is going to focus a lot on Fatima. So if you hear me talking about her, that's why. I will do a recap of the actual finale in a separate video where I go through the entire competition. So you guys can be on the lookout for that. It will come out in the next day or 2. So going into the finale, the ladies were called and Miss Mexico was called as well in the top 30. Now, I think a lot of us were not surprised. I will say that she's not the best speaker, but she's not the worst. And with the controversy that happened, I'm sure the judging panel, even if they're not familiar with pageantry, I'm sure that they saw that as well. And there had to have been some influence with that video, given that it was such a big moment. However, we have to know a few things. And I want to say this because I think it's important. I wholeheartedly supported Fatima speaking up for herself. I think it's so important, and I think it was inspirational. But if you are competing at the Olympics, right? And something happens behind the scene in the Olympics to a contestant. Let's say a representative from the Philippines is competing at the Olympics, and one of the Olympics organizers singles out that contestant from the Philippines and calls them out. And the Olympic medalist from the Philippines stands up for themselves, it goes viral, whatever. But then during the Olympic competition, they do not perform well, they wouldn't get the gold medal. Does that make sense? If you are an athlete and you get into controversy and you stand up for yourself and you gain the public support, it doesn't mean that you're going to win the competition, whether it's a basketball competition or a baseball competition or a tennis competition. Let's think of Serena Williams. As Serena Williams, the famous tennis player, was bashed by a tennis organization, right? Or one of the organizers of a tennis competition. And she stood up for herself and garnered public support. But she performed poorly during the tennis match against her opponent. We wouldn't just give Serena Williams the gold medal and allow her to win just because she stood up for herself, right? Because then it's not a competition. Then what's the whole point of the competition? It's not Fatima's fault she got called out, but it also shouldn't be the repercussion of everyone else that she stood up for herself, because she also wasn't the only one who stood up against Nawat that day. Other girls got up in support of Fatima. Other girls called Nawat out as well. Yes, he singled Fatima out, but Fatima was not the only girl who stood up. Miss Iraq was holding hands side by side with Miss Mexico when she walked out, yet she didn't even make a top 30 placement. So if placements can be won based off of one event that was recognizably wrong, and that we do support Fatima for standing up for herself, well then shouldn't every girl who stood up that day in support of Fatima also have a placement? Just ponder on that. I hope that you guys are following. Are you following? If not, rewind and listen to my words. Thank you. Okay, so swimsuit competition comes around, and again, we're going to focus on Fatima, Miss Universe Mexico, because this is in Miss Universe 2025 now, because this is where this entire drama is centered mostly around her, okay? And I'll mention a few other ladies as well. Top 30 gets announced. There's obviously a few surprises like Turks and Caicos, Portugal, Argentina who don't make it, but every year there are a few girls who don't make the top 30. It is what it is, right? So whatever. Swimsuit comes around and there's clear standouts. I mean, Thailand did amazing, Philippines did amazing, Guadeloupe did amazing, Ivory Coast did amazing, Miss Universe Latina did amazing. There is a lot of good girls, right? So Fatima, Miss Universe Mexico, during the top 12 announcement, gets announced to be part of the top 12. Along with some other girls like Miss Universe Cuba, who allegedly is also a Nepo baby and has a lot of money, but you know, this video is not about her, so we'll let you live for today, Miss Cuba.
Scammers.
Nonetheless, Miss Universe Mexico makes the top 12 after the swimsuit competition, and she pretty much outdoes some other stronger competitors, in my opinion. Like Miss Universe Latina was a lot stronger, Miss Universe India was a lot stronger. I mean, there were just other girls who I genuinely believe could have taken the place of Miss Universe Mexico Fatima Bosch in the top 12. But it is what it is. There were also a lot of great girls who made the top 12, like Ivory Coast, Thailand, Philippines, China, you know, Malta. So there was a lot of girls who were deserving as well who made it, but there was definitely a few standouts that were like, how did you make the top 12, including Miss Universe Mexico? And this is not to bash her. I'm talking strictly about her walk, because that's the whole thing about swimsuit, right? If you're not familiar with pageantries, it might sound like I'm just hating on this woman, but when it comes to a pageant perspective and you're analyzing it from a pageant perspective, the walk was not that good. You know, it just didn't make any sense. So anyways, that was that. Top 12 comes out and the ladies are doing their evening gown competition, and we are seeing the gowns, and it's so clear as day who the standouts are, for me at least, and I think most people as well. Miss Mexico came out in a very interesting dress. It almost seemed like it was Asian inspired, maybe something that you would wear like ao dai, which is like from Vietnam, or you know, something that you would wear during Chinese New Year.
If you're
really Chinese and fronting for other people. Go back to your country.
I don't even know how to explain it. Maybe the red was in representation of Mexico because we know that red is in the flag of Mexico. And red is a color that is synonymous with Mexicano culture. So maybe it was a nod to that. Maybe it's Fatima's favorite color. I don't really know. Personally, I think the dress was a little bit odd because it did look so Asian influenced in design.
We all make choices, but that was a choice. Choices. Choices. Choices.
So I'm just saying, I think the design was weird. The walk was not good. Facial expressions were not giving.
Choices.
It's not that she's not a beautiful girl. It's just that amongst the other contestants, she wasn't a standout, okay? And I'm not trying to be rude. Again, I think that, you know, everyone, including Fatima, probably works hard, but it's pageants. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say, like, yes, in track and field for the Olympics, every girl worked really hard to condition themselves for the race, but there's clearly the girls who won the race and there's the girls who didn't. And it didn't feel like Fatima was winning the race at Miss Universe during the top 12 evening gown competition. It really felt like she landed in the bottom, like 2 or 3. So top 5 gets announced, and in not the same order, just in no order. It was like Thailand, it was Philippines, Ivory Coast, it was Venezuela, and it was Mexico. For me, Venezuela and Mexico were a surprise. The other 3, I was like, okay, I can see Thailand, Philippines, and Ivory Coast making it. But Mexico and Venezuela were kind of a shock to me. I was like, oh.
Choices.
Okay. Interesting. Anyways, I thought that something was fishy at this point. I was like, you know what? Putting Mexico in top 30 was one thing. Putting her in top 12, it was another thing. Putting her in top 5.
Choices.
The questions come in, and I'm not gonna lie, the questions were not that hard, but all the girls just did mediocre. Again, just to get past the point, Mexico did not do the best. I'm not gonna sit here and say that she did the worst I've ever seen in pageants. I don't think it was the worst response ever, but relative to the Philippines, and especially relative to Ivory Coast, she was not the winner. And I think the international response, and if you watch any reaction video to Miss Universe, almost every single one of them, if they're not a Mexicano, we were all like in agreement that Mexico was not the winner. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing personal. It's just pageants, right? Well, I'm pretty sure most of us, unless maybe you're from Mexico or you're a supporter and lover of Fatima Bosch, everyone was pretty certain that Ivory Coast was going to win. But she didn't win. She actually got 5th place, also known as 4th runner-up.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
Everyone was shocked. I was shocked. The international state, it was just shocking. It was just shocking. Okay, so then after that, we're like, okay, next one should be Mexico. No, they call it Philippines for 4th place. Then Venezuela for 3rd place.
How are you?
I'm okay. Sorry. Okay.
Now you have Thailand and Mexico as the final 2, and everyone is just sitting there like, what the heck? And wouldn't you know it, it's Mexico who wins. And it was just odd.
Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off. Take me off. Cut the show.
It was odd. And it was kind of suspicious. A lot of us were like, this seems allegedly a little bit odd and allegedly a little rigged.
Scammers.
And it doesn't help that this video of Miss Universe Mexico Fatima Bosch's brother during the top of announcements gets shown.
Here we go. Miss Universe is Mexico!
Scammers.
Now you guys look at his reaction and you tell me, is this the normal reaction of someone who was watching their sister take part in the top 5 of Miss Universe, and they are going to be announced as maybe the winner or maybe not the winner. Like, wouldn't you be excited and emotional and anxious? Like, oh my God, it's my sister. She's gonna go up there. She's top 5. They're about to announce the winner. Like, is it her? Is it her? So it was just very interesting to me because it seemed like he already kind of was like in the mentality of, we got this in the bag.
If you're really Chinese and fronting for other people, go back to your country.
Like, he didn't seem very worried. And no offense, in the most respectful way possible, if I was him, I would have been a little bit worried because his sister did not do a great job at the Q&A and Ivory Coast killed it. So something was just a little bit weird about that. Not only his reaction, but Miss Universe 2025 judge Andrea Mesa, who was the former Miss Universe 2020 from Mexico. When Mexico was announced the winner, Fatima Bosch, there was a video clip that surfaced of Andrea Mesa's reaction as well, and it was a little bit weird. We've seen judges from different countries become a happy and cheer whenever their country ends up winning the Miss Universe pageant. So it was kind of odd that Andrea Mesa wasn't happy, and it wasn't giving, oh, I'm gonna remain neutral or calm because I don't wanna seem like I staged this or I rigged this. But it was just very interesting, that's all. It just seemed like she was kind of like in disbelief that Mexico won. And I don't know if it's because she already knew it, so she wanted to keep quiet, or if she was truly shocked, like, how did Mexico win? Or I don't really know why her reaction was the way it was. She hasn't came out with the explanation. But anyways, you guys can make a judgment call for yourself. Well, the Miss Universe competition concluded and Mexico ended up winning. Congratulations to you. Let's move forward with what's happened afterwards, because a lot has happened. Omar, remember him? One of the former judges? Yeah. Well, he came out saying that he has a special on HBO that will be coming around March 2026, allegedly, that alleges he knew 24 hours prior to the Miss Universe competition that Miss Mexico was going to be crowned the winner. Allegedly, Omar said it was already selected. Miss Mexico was already determined to be the winner of Miss Universe this year, allegedly.
Saan po yung bahay ninyo nung ipinanganak kayo?
Your Honor, hindi ko na po alam.
So, saang homeschool provider naka-connect yung teacher ninyo?
Your Honor, hindi ko na po maalala po yung pangalan.
Okay.
This is big news because what is he talking about? If this is true, it would explain the odd placement of Miss Mexico. Not only this, but there were so many other things that came out as well. Natalie Grabova, one of the selection committee or one of the judges for the Miss Universe 2025 competition, came out as well and said Miss Universe Thailand was my winner. She was the real winner. Now, this is not really too relevant because Natalie has not grown up, but she's lived in Thailand for a while. She's a Thai husband. So whatever. I mean, most judges would not come out and say who they picked as their winner, but it's not against the rules. And Thailand didn't win anyways. So we can already know that Thailand, like, Natalie did not vote for Mexico. So that's one girl. There was an Indian judge. Who knows who she was judging for, but I'm gonna guess probably it was for India or Thailand or in the Asian countries. There are 2 other Asian judges as well. One of them came out, one of the Filipino ones came out and legitimately said, I voted for Tisa Manalo, she was the best. So we know that he didn't vote for Miss Mexico. Do you get what I'm saying? It just seems like allegedly a lot of the judges were like, we didn't vote for Mexico as number 1. So then how does she become number 1?
Hindi ka nag-aral.
Back in the days, they used to show the scores on the screen as the competition was going by. Back in the days of Miss Universe, they used to literally have the scores on the screen. They don't do that anymore. And Natalie Grabova said something very interesting as well, because during the early 2010s, like 2015 to 2020 or so, when it was under the Miss Universe organization was under a different organization, IMG, they used to have an auditor from Ernst & Young, an official auditor. And Natalie Garbova, one of the judges, like I mentioned earlier, for this year's competition, stated that she will not return and is not interested to be a part of Miss Universe or the judging or selecting committee until there is an auditing firm. Because she did not understand, as a judge, what was the process of this tallying the scores. Because there was no auditing firm, allegedly. Well, this is not it. I did some research, and there is a Mexicana citizen who came out with a little bit of an update about all of this. I'm going to put this video in here, and it's going to give you a little bit of a backstory about Fatima. So here you go.
Fatima Bosch won Miss Universe, and this is what has been happening in Mexico before and after she won. Everything started wrong. Everything was weird, even since the national contest, and things didn't get better. Just as a disclaimer, this is not hate. So everything started when she last minute accepted being part of the Miss Universe edition in Mexico. The way she enrolled was unusual. It was very last minute in a way, and they called her, they looked for her so she could be in that pageant. Up to that point, to me, it was already unusual, but all good. I mean, I guess it could happen. I'm not sure how things work. During the final round of the contest, when they announced that Fatima was going to be Miss Mexico, they announced her like Fatima Bosch, Miss Mexico, and at first, nobody said anything. Nobody went to say, congratulations, Fatima. Very few people clapped at the time, and it was like big news in Mexico because it's the first time that a Miss wins, and she doesn't receive any kind of recognition from her mates. At first we all thought, well, the other ladies might be jealous because Fatima is obviously pretty. I think she didn't have a good runway or something like that, but in the speech part she did a very good job, at least that's what people say, and people believe it was a legit result. That day, instead of screaming Fatima, Fatima or Miss Tabasco because she's from Tabasco, people started screaming Jalisco, like the state of the person that was supposed to win. To our eyes, as the audience, we didn't think, and I think most of us didn't think that Miss Jalisco was better looking than Fatima, but apparently during the contest, Miss Jalisco proved herself, and everybody thought that the crown was stolen from her. To our eyes, Fatima was a very nice girl. She is very religious, so in Mexico that is also very religious. That connected very well with the audience, and I think most of the Mexicans were happy with the results, so it wasn't a big deal. We all just thought that the other misses were kind of jealous maybe, or they had something personal, but personally I did find it weird because there has been many editions of Miss Universe here, and it never happened that before, so I dig in to see what's happening, and I find out that the dad of Fatima is a very well-connected businessman, and that he works in Petróleos Mexicanos. So Petróleos Mexicanos, it's very close with the government, and Pemex, it's like Pertamina in Indonesia, but it's like the Mexican version. So the dad is very well connected. Nowadays, Pemex in Mexico, it's crap. It doesn't work well. It's a big corruption there. Like everything about Pemex, it's corruption nowadays. By that time, I could guess there was something unfair, but I couldn't guess what it was, and until today I still don't know what happened exactly there, but the girls were angry. Everybody was attacking the other misses, defending Fatima, and Fatima seemed like a victim, but at the same time it was weird because this doesn't happen commonly. To my eyes, maybe there was something shady, but at the same time she was maybe the strongest candidate of Mexico's edition. Anyway, Mexico goes to Miss Universe with all the support of the people in Mexico. Like she goes as a very strong candidate, maybe because of the background and the connection, the religious connection with the audience. Like she's very charismatic and she knows how to connect. Then the scandal with the Thai man, that was super inappropriate. I don't know if it was truth or not, now I don't know, but I thought it was super out of the line, and I thought it was okay for her to raise her voice. I think she did something according to the Miss Universe program in regards to the women empowerment, and once again she gains popularity because of that situation. In my humble opinion, even if she's obviously beautiful, she wasn't going to win. Like she doesn't seem like an expert or up to the level to win Miss Universe. To me, she didn't look as prepared as some other candidates. But as before the final of Miss Universe, she was good with words. I thought, well, maybe if she speaks well, she could make it to the top 10 or top 5. I want to say that my favorite since moment one was Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire and Turks and Caicos and Guadeloupe. But Côte d'Ivoire, wow. And what we saw the night of the final round in Miss Universe was a queen. And the queen was not Fatima, I'm sorry to say it, but she was not the queen, it was Côte d'Ivoire. At least to me, Côte d'Ivoire, if not maybe Venezuela, because her speech was so strong. Philippines was also very good, and well, many others were doing a good job, but to me, Côte d'Ivoire. And then I realized that it wasn't just me, but the whole world. After Miss Universe wins, of course, there's pride in Mexico, and some people are super happy to have the 4th crown in the country. But many others, like me, are not. I'm disappointed. That was not meant to happen. And today, all newspapers, all journalists are talking about this, but not necessarily in a positive way. And this is happening in Mexico, in her country. After digging in with all what Omar Harfush said and other judges, we find out that there is deeper shit in this topic. Everything seems to be connected with the government. At the moment, Mexico is facing a terrible political and economical crisis. And it seems like the official party basically sent this lady to compete and win. So Fatima's dad has a long history in corruption, but he managed to get away with that after a year of being unable to work in Pemex. Well, now he's back in Pemex, and he sent approximately $50 million to Raul Rocha. The owner, well, basically the owner of Miss Universe, who's also Mexican, is a businessman who's also involved in many, many business, and we don't know what kind of business. Some of them look perfectly normal, some of them doesn't look very normal. And we have realized that in some interviews, Fatima spoke very well of the government, especially of our female president, who I personally dislike for many, many reasons, but that's another topic. Everything seems to be way too connected to be a coincidence, and I believe that this is as shady and fishy as it could be. What makes me feel so upset about this is the affected people. Let's say Cote d'Ivoire, like she's an African woman, and for African women everything is twice harder, and she made it, and the crown is not with her. I feel so ashamed to admit it, but these things happen in Mexico. It breaks my heart to see that people is thinking that this was something related to racism. Fortunately it wasn't, but it's related to corruption, that it's also something so sad to admit and to live day by day. And to my eyes, Cote d'Ivoire is the most affected, but she's not the only one. All the ladies that didn't qualify to the 30 selected were damaged by these Mexican people. Fatima's family, Raul Rocha, and the Mexican government. Fatima's auntie is at the moment the president of the institute that brings back to the town what was taken away from them. So today they said, so if you're giving back to the town what people took away, could you please give us the crown for the actual queen? Imagine, like, that's the level of disappointment, anger, shame. We feel ashamed as Mexicans because obviously, I mean, it happened because of the situation in Mexico. I truly hope that there can be justice and that something happens, because we can definitely not continue this way, and especially affecting people that has nothing to do with this crack country.
And as if that was not already a lot, yeah, it's also made the Mexican news, allegedly. So I want you guys to listen to this news reporting from Mexico itself.
Mexicana Fátima Bosch en Miss Universo. Hay denuncias de fraude que estuvo arreglado. Renunciaron 3 jueces. El papá de Fátima, Bernardo Bosch, resulta que es alto funcionario de Pemex, y ya sacaron que Pemex le dio al dueño de Miss Universo un contrato por 745 millones de pesos. Resulta que el papá tuvo un proceso de inhabilitación como funcionario. El dueño de Miss Universo es el mexicano Raúl Rocha Cantú, contratista de Pemex, famoso en el negocio de los casinos, conocido como el rey del juego, dueño de aquel casino Royal que los narcos incendiaron en Monterrey, matando a más de 50 personas hace años. Espérese, la tía de Fátima Bosch, la Miss Universo, era senadora de Morena y ahorita está en el gabinete de la presidenta Sheinbaum. ¿Sabe quién es? Es la directora del instituto para devolver al... pueblo lo robado. A ver si no hay que devolver la corona. Oiga, ¿por qué todo lo que toca Morena se convierte en esto? Tan contentos que estábamos todos con el triunfo de Fátima Bosch, tan orgullosos de cómo levantó la voz cuando un directivillo ahí de Tailandia la trató de ningunear y humillar en público y ella se plantó. Anoche en Tabasco la gente estaba de fiesta. De allá es originaria Fátima y el estadio de béisbol de los Olmecas estuvo a reventar de gente que fue a ver en pantallas gigantes el concurso. Brincó como si fuera México en el Mundial celebrando el triunfo de Fátima. La gente estaba encantada y hoy el triunfo de la mexicana es un escándalo mundial. Medios de comunicación de todo el mundo están criticando lo que sucedió anoche en Miss Universo 2025. De entrada porque hace unos días renunciaron 3 jurados del concurso para elegir Miss Universo. Uno de ellos fue el músico y compositor franco-libanés, no me va a creer cómo se llama, Omar Harfouch. De verdad, no tiene nada que ver con el secretario de Seguridad mexicano. Hay que aclararlo porque todo esto ya es un enjuague muy turbio, ¿no? Pero bueno, el juez Omar Harfouch denunció en redes sociales que los resultados estaban amañados. Publicó un video en Instagram hoy acusando a la mexicana Fátima Bosch de ser una ganadora falsa. Escribió que 24 horas de la final de Miss Universo, él dio una entrevista a la cadena HBO donde adelantó que Miss México ganaría el concurso, que ya estaba arreglado, porque el dueño de Miss Universo, el mexicano Raúl Rocha Cantú, tiene negocios con el papá de Fátima Bosch. No dijo qué negocios, pero añadió que todos los detalles iban a mostrar ganaría el concurso, que ya estaba arreglado, porque el dueño de Miss Universo, el mexicano Raúl Rocha Cantú, tiene negocios con el papá de Fátima Bosch. No dijo qué negocios, pero añadió que todos los detalles iban a mostrar en mayo de 2026 en HBO. Agregó que Rocha Cantú y su hijo lo invitaron a votar por Fátima porque sería bueno para su negocio. Después de estos señalamientos, una reportera cuestionó al mexicano Raúl Rocha, el dueño de la franquicia Miss Universo, quien respondió que en realidad el juez Harfuch no había renunciado, que él lo despidió por no atender sus responsabilidades en otro proyecto llamado Beyond the Crown. Rocha incluso mostró a los medios parte de la conversación privada que tuvo con Omar Harfuch, el juez, no el secretario, a quien acusó de querer ganar favos.
The social media is an amazing tool we have, but we need to use it correctly. He really liked because he wear Miss Universe around the world.
Ese fue solo el inicio del escándalo, porque el juez Omar Harfuch había dejado sembrada la duda de los negocios entre el papá de la ganadora y el dueño de Miss Universo, y que empieza a brotar el asunto. Bernardo Bosch Hernández, papá de la Miss Universo mexicana Fátima Bosch, es alto mando en Pemex, familia tabasqueña. Su perfil de LinkedIn muestra que actualmente es asesor de la Dirección General de Pemex Exploración y Producción y que ha estado en Pemex durante 27 años. De acuerdo con el periodista de MX Jorge García Orozco, Bernardo Bosch se convirtió en subdirector de seguridad en Pemex desde el pasado 30 de octubre y ganó más de 3 millones de pesos entre su sueldo en Pemex y sus negocios. En 2023, Pemex le dio un contrato por 745 millones de pesos a la empresa Soluciones Gasíferas del Sur, propiedad de Raúl Rocha Cantú, el dueño de Miss Universo. Pemex le dio Fuch había dejado sembrada la duda de los negocios. Fuch había dejado sembrada.
I mean, I think it's just insane. All this is alleged, like I said earlier, so I have no idea what is and what is not true, but I did not know that it allegedly goes as deep as the government of Mexico being involved in all this. Now, I have my opinions, but they're going to be politically charged, so I'm going to withhold my opinions because I'm not trying to get into politics. But I think it's very interesting that allegedly the government got involved in order to aid Miss Mexico Fatima Bosch in her win. And it makes me wonder, does Fatima knew that all this was happening? Like, was this, like, did she know that this was planned, or was this all done behind even her back? I don't know.
If you're really Chinese and fronting for other people, go back to your country.
People are now putting into question whether or not the whole thing with Nawat was staged, or if and planned, or if it was genuine. I think it may have been genuine, but you can make your own judgment. Now, I think everything afterwards was not genuine. I don't really know. The real issue is, one, we have men running this organization, and that's never a good thing. The other issue is that there's too much business and ownership involvement. The owners need to take a step back from being involved in the competition as a whole, and they need to remove themselves from being so present and prevalent in this competition. Furthermore, business proceedings should not be done out loud on Instagram. Yes, we as pageant fans would like to have transparency, but mostly on things relevant to the scoring of the ladies. So maybe be transparent about the scores, but we're not interested in all the business and legal and lawsuit allegations, right? I'm sure there's so much business proceedings and allegations and issues that happen during the World Cup or during the Olympics or during any other competition in the world, but we're unaware of it because these organizations are professional and they know how to keep those things behind the scenes so that the fans and the competitors can enjoy the competition as a whole. You know, a lot of times in pageantry, we can become very nationalistic and we can become very divided as pageant fans. We tend to only root for our own countries, which is something that I try to avoid. And really, I made this channel to bring unity and to bring back the version of pageants and pageant fans where we rooted for the girl who really deserved it, regardless of whether they're from our countries or not. Nowadays, the state of pageantry and pageant fans are that they're very nationalistic, and unfortunately, this is seemingly happening with the Miss Universe organization. It does seem like the overall Latin panel for the judges and the very heavy top 30, which is mostly full of Latinos, it seems like the Mexican ownership has tainted, in my opinion, allegedly, the integrity of Miss Universe. and now nationalism has seeped into the organization. Last year when Miss Mexico made the top 5, that was very controversial and made no sense at all. And now for her to be the winner, personally, I think it's questionable, but congratulations anyways on the 4th crown for Mexico. But I will say there was one positive thing that came out of all this, which is a lot of us came together from different countries to support Ivory Coast and the other top 5 ladies, Philippines, Thailand, and Venezuela, who were all definitely snubbed of a victory and of a fair placement. And a lot of us have come together collectively to cheer on Olivia Yase of Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire, who was definitely the rightful winner in my humble opinion. This poor woman has been working towards pageantry since 2019, and we all know that, and I know you guys may say don't bring race into it, but I'm going to. You know, we all know that Black women have to work twice, if not 3 times as hard as any other individual in the room, period. So I know that Olivia Yase did nothing but the utmost work to get to this spot. And for her to be called as 4th runner-up, aka 5th place, was a slap in her face in front of the entire world, and we all see it. And we all stand in support of her. And we all are with her. And, you know, it's not about Mexico as a country. I hope that if you're Mexicano, that you watch that show with integrity and you know, represent your people by being honest and saying that this is not fair. That although, yes, it would have been nice for Miss Mexico to have the crown, it wasn't done fairly. Because this is the 2nd time in the row. The only other time that I can remember and recall pageant fans coming together to say that this is wrong and this doesn't make sense is in 2020 when Andrea Mesa from Mexico also won under allegedly suspicious circumstances.
Convince us because we want to be convinced.
At this point, I do want to say that, you know, I have no hate or malice or bad feelings towards Mexicanos, Mexico as a culture. Me encanta su cultura muchísimo, y me encanta México muchísimo, y yo creo que Fátima es una buena mujer, pero este es no correcto. Es no correcto, es muy falta que Costa Marfil no ganar esta competición, y espero que ustedes entiendan, you know, understand what I'm saying. So, you know, this is not to insult Mexicanos. En actual, yo sé que muchos mexicanos tienen integridad y hay personas que trabajar, you know, really hard. I know Mexicano people are hard workers. They're very great people. So, you know, you can't take a few bad apples and say that the whole tree is bad. But I do think Raul Rocha and the Bosch family and this whole situation and Telemundo is problematic. Another thing that I want to mention is that during the show, if you watched it from Telemundo, did anyone notice something that was very odd? During the live broadcasting from Telemundo of Miss Universe, which is what I watched because in the US we didn't have access to the YouTube channel live broadcasting, I noticed that after Fatima, Miss Universe Mexico, answered her question for the question during the top 5, the host of Telemundo, under her breath, except for it wasn't that much under her breath because we could all hear it, would say little comments like, "Yes, Fati," or "Viva Mexico." What was that about? You are an official host of the Miss Universe competition, right? And you are saying things like "Viva Mexico," "Yes, Fati," during the competition while it's still ongoing. That commentator needs to be fired. Yes, we are all nationalistic. Yes, we all have our countries that we love, but you cannot say things like that during the competition as it's ongoing. You can say it afterwards, you know, like, "Yes, Viva Mexico," like, "Yay," like that's fine, right? Yeah, but you can't say it during the competition. Anyways, you guys, there's so much going on. Omar has said, and I'm wrapping this up, Omar has said basically that, "Girl, this is a mess." And yeah, he's thinking about pursuing legal action. So we will have to wait and see for that. I would love to know you guys' opinions. What do you guys think? I know this video is so long, and I'm so sorry. I wanted to get as much as I can. Comment down below if I missed anything. There's so much to the situation that I'm sure I did miss something, but I just wanted to get it out there. The integrity of Miss Universe is now allegedly just crumbling, and they will soon no longer have fans to watch it. If you ask me why I think, if allegedly Raul Rocha did allegedly select Fatima Bosch to be the winner, if you're asking me my opinion as to why he did that, what I think is that after the Nawat controversy happened with Fatima and she went viral, it garnered a lot of international attention from everyone, beauty pageant fans or not, as I mentioned earlier. And I think what he thought was, if he crowns Fatima, perhaps this will be a success story. The girl who was talked down on wins in the country of that guy's country, right? Of Nawat's country. I think he thought this would be a success story and that he could garner international support for Fatima. And allegedly some money too from her daddy, allegedly. But anyways, I think what Raul forgot is that you did not bring more fans into pageantry. Yes, international support was given to Fatima when she spoke up against Nawat, but it did not lead to more people watching pageants than already did. The people who support the Miss Universe organization were the same fans before that whole thing happened between Fatima and Nawat and after. You may have gained a few, 100 or a few thousand more fans, but the bulk and core of your fan base for Miss Universe remained the same. And what you forgot is that we know pageants and we expect there to be transparency in scoring and integrity in the judging. Stop selecting a panel of judges who have nothing to do with pageantry to begin with. Start being transparent about your scoring. And if you have any integrity left, start responding to these news channels who have asked you for a statement. There have been several news channels allegedly who are stating that they have reached out to the Miss Universe organization for comments and have not gotten any response. If I was you, I would definitely be responding, and I would respond quickly, and I would make sure that I have an answer that makes sense. Because all your receipts, Raul, that you claim that you have, Omar is putting them in the trash and burning them in fire. It does not look good. The Miss Universe organization is going to lose the little respect that it has left. I think it needs to go back to somewhere else. When it was in the hands of Thai ownership and a multimillionaire, that was a mess. Let's talk about that. Let's end it off on this last note of Kunan. Where is Kunan? Who is Kunan? Long story short, Kunan was the former owner of Miss Universe before Raul Rocha was the owner. Essentially, she was a Thai business mogul who owned the company JKN organization, and JKN organization went bankrupt. And I'll just go ahead and say this and put this video in here and it will explain everything. So have fun, knock yourself out, watch this.
Miss Universe Organization.
Breaking. Over 52% of Miss Universe organization shares have been transferred to a legal entity overseas.
วันนี้มีความคืบหน้าใหญ่ในคดีการเงินของบริษัท JKN หลังเจ้าหนี้และผู้ถือหุ้นออกมาเปิดเผยตัวเลขความเสียหายรวมมากกว่า 7,000 ล้านบาทประเด็นที่ทำให้วงการตลาดทุนจับตาคือการพบข้อมูลว่าหุ้นกว่า 52% ของ Miss Universe Organization ซึ่งเดิมเป็นกรรมสิทธิ์ของ JKN ถูกโอนย้ายออกไปอย่างเงียบๆไปยังนิติบุคคลรายหนึ่งในต่างประเทศที่สำคัญคือกระบวนการโอนหุ้นครั้งนี้ไม่มีการแจ้งต่อตลาดหลักทรัพย์และไม่ได้ปรากฏในเอกสารรายงานใดๆซึ่งเข้าข่ายการซ่อนข้อมูลสาระสำคัญและอาจส่งผลต่อความน่าเชื่อถือของบริษัทโดยตรงด้านผู้เชี่ยวชาญตลาดหุ้นหลายรายระบุว่าถ้าหลักฐานนี้ถูกยืนยันจะเป็นหนึ่งในคดีการบริหารที่ผิดระเบียบครั้งใหญ่ที่สุดของวงการบันเทิงเชิงธุรกิจไทยขณะนี้เจ้าหนี้หลายรายรวมถึงนักลงทุนสถาบันกำลังกดดันให้มีการตรวจสอบเส้นทางการเงินและที่มาของการโอนหุ้นทั้งหมดอย่างละเอียดสังคมกำลังจับตาอย่างใกล้ชิดว่าดีลลึกลับครั้งนี้จะเกี่ยวข้องกับใคร และ JKN จะออกมาชี้แจงอย่างไรท่ามกลางความเสียหายมูลค่ามหาศาลที่เกิดขึ้น
So hey guys, that is everything. This video is already so long. I'm going to go ahead and end it. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are as well. Please know that everything in this video is alleged. Nothing that I am stating is a fact. Everything is my own personal opinion and does not reflect fact at all. Nothing that I have put in this video reflects factual information either. These are all allegations and assumptions that are not to be taken as hard facts or evidence at all. All this is just alleged. If you guys want to go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, I'll be ever so grateful. That will make you part of the Reyna family. The Reyna family is what I call my subscribers. We have grown so much during the pageant season, and I'm so thankful for all of you guys for always supporting me. Hit the subscribe button down below to become a part of the Reyna family and become a Reyna yourself. Okay? Also hit the thumbs up button, please. This video was a lot of work to make and I did my best. I know it's not the best video out there, but I did my best. So please hit the thumbs up button if you guys don't mind. I love you guys so much. Miss Cote d'Ivoire, okay, we love you so much. Miss Philippines, we love you so much. Miss India, we love you so much. Miss Thailand, we love you so much. Miss Venezuela, te amo muchísimo. De Estados Unidos, y felicidades por todo. And I'm so sorry to all the people who are heartbroken over the results. I am too. And hopefully moving forward, we can have better results. This is just honestly so disappointing. And as a pageant enthusiast and lover, it's so sad. I am actually starting my pageant coaching journey, and I will be launching that within the next week or so. And I don't even know. It's heartbreaking because I have one girl already and she's like, whoa, what is this all about? And I'm like, I don't know, girl. I don't know. I have no answers. Yeah. But if you want to join Miss Universe, I recommend that you have a lot of money. Allegedly. As always, maraming salamat po para sa support. Shukran, tanwa, kampung ka, terima kasih, shesheni, arigatou gozaimasu, muchas gracias. Y, yeah, felicidades a Mexico. And, bye. Love you guys. Putang ina mo.
Scammers